this is Casey at BeBe Blythe Company. Today I wanted to make another teeth video. Now, if you've been watching our videos, you know that the last video that I made about teeth did not go well. I put the doll in the oven. I put the entire faceplate in the oven with the teeth, and it warped the faceplate. Fortunately, I saved her, and I think she came out really cute, but I'm not going to do that again and risk ruining the doll. So I had a question on the last video, about the other method for making teeth, the real method, the best method. And I don't know how other artists do it, but this is the way that I do it. So I was going to show you today on my newest doll. I have carved her mouth open. She has been painted. She is almost ready to be finished. This is the point that I do the teeth at, because it really doesn't matter. You could do it before you paint her. That would be fine. But I'm doing it at this point so that I can just finish her up. And it doesn't really matter because the doll has been sealed, so the clay really shouldn't hurt her in any way. And plus, you're going to be putting the clay in from behind, so it shouldn't get anything on her face. So as the last video, I'm using this clay, Primo Sculpting in translucent. So one thing I wanted to mention is always make sure you wash your hands before you get out the clay. Even if you think your hands are clean, they might not be. There's always tiny particles and oils and things. So wash your hands really well, and then break off a small piece. The first time that I made teeth for a doll, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I just sculpted tiny teeth and then tried to glue them on. But unfortunately, the teeth for these dolls are a lot smaller than you think they would be. They're very small, so it's very difficult, one, to sculpt something so small, and two, to glue it in place exactly where you want it because it's so small. So the method that I use is much faster, it's much easier, and it works perfectly. So this clay is a bit crumbly, so I'm warming it up and squishing it together and getting it ready. The other thing that's nice is you can practice several times with this clay without committing to the teeth if you make a mistake or you don't like the way that it looks. The other thing, I always preheat the oven, get the oven going as I'm getting the teeth ready. So this clay, if you read the package, is 275 is your oven, and it's just a couple of minutes. I don't know where the instructions are. It's just a couple of minutes it's a half an hour per 1/4 inch of clay. So these teeth are really small. So the last video I made, the doll was only in the oven about 5 minutes and the teeth were perfectly cured. So I'd say 5 to 10 minutes is probably good. Okay, so now the clay is pretty soft. This is probably enough to make both teeth. So I'm going to cut it in half. So what you're going to do is sort of leave your long piece, and then on one end make it kind of come to a point and flatten that point. This is going to be the part that shows right here. This is going to be the actual tooth. The part up here that we're leaving is kind of like a real root of a tooth, and that's the part that will be glued to the doll. So that's sort of the method I figured out, was leave it really long. So what I do is I turn the doll around, or the face plate, and you're going to kind of put it there, and then turn it around while you're holding it. It's kind of awkward to do, but you're going to turn it around as best you can, and you can see that the tooth is showing. So what you want to do is see One, is the tooth too big? And I think it's going to be okay. And then two, is it in the position that you want? Because what you're going to do is when you get it where you want it, you're going to push the clay against the face plate, and that's going to form it to where you put it, so that once it's cured, you can glue it into that spot. So stick it on there. You can kind of see the tooth in there. Okay. Now you're going to make your other one. This doll is only going to have 2 front teeth. Do basically the same thing. Make it skinnier. Just flatten the bottom like a tooth. Now stick that one back there. Now, you might need a little tool. The second tooth is always a little bit harder to get in there because of this part. But if you kind of push it in there, get into view. Now, it's a little bit higher up than the other one, so I'm just going to peel it off and move it down a little bit. That other tooth is taking up a lot of space, so I'm going to kind of try to move it over a little bit. I want them to be somewhat similar. Okay, so there you have your teeth. I'm not sure that I'm happy with it. I feel like the second tooth is a lot smaller than the other one, so I'm going to move the first one over just a little bit. This is the hardest part, is adjusting to where you want it. And now I've kind of lost what I liked about it. So I'm going to take it out, kind of fix it up a little bit. The problem is that the teeth are 2 different sizes, and I'm really not liking that. So I think I need to make this second one a little bit bigger. So if you need the tooth to be bigger, just sort of flatten your clay up and basically make it bigger. I know not all teeth are symmetrical or exactly the same, but it looks weird when one is a lot different. Okay, this is looking much better. This little tool that I'm using is a tiny crochet needle. It works pretty good for this. Kind of like that, although it's kind of a gap between the front 2 teeth, which I normally like, but it's kind of big, so I'm going to try to push. I'm going to take them off. I'm going to try to push them together so there's less of a gap. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. I like it. So what you're going to do now is you have flattened the clay there on the back. So you're going to peel them off and do your best to leave it exactly like it's formed. And then you're going to put it on your glass, whatever you use to put in your oven, just like that. Put it in the oven for 5 or 10 minutes, and then when it comes out, we'll glue it to the faceplate. So I will be back in 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm back, and the teeth piece is cured from the oven. It's kind of hard to see, but there at the end, those are the 2 little teeth, and it doesn't really matter what it looks like on the rest of it. It's not going to be seen behind the faceplate. And the bumps and grooves are there because that's how we pushed it into the doll. So that's how it's going to stay in there. So I also got some glue. I had to go and buy some new glue because I didn't have any. I just used this glue, or this gel super glue. It works better than the liquid because the liquid can drip and get on your doll and on the teeth, and you don't want to get the glue on the teeth. So let's take this out. If you get the glue on the teeth, it can sort of make them cloudy, basically, so don't do that. And it's open, so this is the cap that we're going to put on there. So as far as positioning the teeth, I'm going to turn it over and see how we had them in there. And it should just fit right in there and flush with the faceplate so you can see the teeth. So what you're going to do is just put a little bit of glue basically as far away from the mouth as you can. That way you don't have to worry about it getting on anything. So this is pretty strong glue, so you really don't need a lot to hold that in there. So we're just going to put it like that. You also don't want to get it on your fingers, so leave yourself some space. It dries pretty fast, so you want to make sure you get it in there where you want it, and press it. Check the front, make sure it looks good, and that should dry and it won't come off. So that's the way to make teeth for your Blythe doll, and I will have photos of this girl finished very soon. She'll be available on Facebook, so check us out there. The link is below, and thanks for watching.